And so I would like to say a couple of words about the intersection of studying funds through one particular let's say object or artifact, we could call it this way, which is a metal denim jacket that I'm sure that everybody of you is like aware what that is, so I don't have to go much into the detail here. And I'm always like very, I would say, careful and cautious in this way, that I would have to say that I'm always much more in studying the audiences than the music or the artifact itself. So this is something, a tool for me to, let's say, open more, let's say, wider debate probably into the topics of studying audiences, studying fandoms, fanships, and as this kind of metal denim jacket or denim jacket tout court could be, I believe it presents kind of a fascinating I would say subject for me to unveil different meanings of what participation in the metal scenes have for some people in very concrete and particular settings that I will try to present. And also I have to say that this is something that is not ready. So this is, again, the question of Mirek is like somehow that double twinning or double. There was a double tranche. Saying this is something which will be a part of one chapter in the book I'm currently preparing. So it is something that is not ready. It is something that is under consideration, and it is something which is a bit more fresh for me than it should be when speaking at the conference or at the workshop like this one. So I would like to invite you to help me with this task and try to construct, maybe even construct the research and the basic research questions in a way that it could be somehow adding something new. It could be interesting. It could be addressing the topics that I mean could be interesting for all of us in this format of studying metal scenes in Central Eastern Europe. So I'm sitting on 2 chairs right now, and while the second chair is a temporary one, so I would say a more stable chair for me is I'm an assistant professor at the seminar of General and Comparative History at the Charles University in Prague, and in this winter I'm basically sitting on the second chair, which is in Vienna, at the Institute of Music Sociology, and it is at the so-called MDW, so University of Music and Performing Arts in Vienna. Which is very helpful for me because I'm a historian. It opens me a completely new and wider topics or wider pictures of studying scenes. So this is something I'm trying to let's say profit to the maximum in this moment, and I try to let's say familiarize myself with the secondary literature, and I cannot do so much really the basic research right now, but I'm trying to at least project it and to do it since we are still living in this period of end of the time. So like, okay, I still hope that there will be some spring and it will be again possible to come to the people and to speak with them directly and to go to the concerts and so on and so forth. So so these are the basically the, let's say, my affiliations. I'm a co-founder of an NGO that some of you know, which is the so-called Center for the Study of Popular Culture. It's an organization active basically also in Prague, but we are trying to outreach to other basically Czech and Slovak towns or university towns. And its, let's say, side product is the so-called Archive of Czech and Slovak Subcultures. That is led by a very dear colleague of mine, Miroslav Michela, who is basically a collection of different subcultural outcome, basically the fanzines. And I would like to propose him exactly to go a little bit beyond the fanzines and try to focus also on some other say subcultural productions, such as, for example, the metal denim jackets, but also other either pictures or other memorabilia linked with the scenes and with the musical styles beyond metal, but also extending to punk, skinhead scenes, and so on and so forth. A very helpful association or NGO for NGO is not really the best word for that, but it's more kind of a scholarly association for the international networking and different let's say mirrors of what is happening somewhere else, especially in the topics of popular music. Is this IASPM, the International Association for the Study of Popular Music, and I have to say I draw immensely from the partnership, from the membership in this association. It's not that I'm paid by the percentage, but I feel I have to say that it's a very recommendable platform to know what is happening, not only in metal studies, but generally in the genre studies across the Europe. Fine. So I'm currently working on a project which is financed by the Czech Science Foundation, and it's the so-called Youth, Music and Class in Czech Post-Socialism. So this is basically the perspective I'm putting into studying metal denim jacket, and I try to focus on let's say the period between the end of the 1980s until early 1990s or half of the 1990s of the so-called let's say dismantlement of the state socialism and the early post-socialism years. So this is something what let's say limits my perspective, and I try to find different let's say intersection between these three big concepts: the youth, the music, and the class. So and particularly the class topic is something I'm trying to observe very closely in this moment. So it is something which is pretty much linked with this, let's say, feeling of discontinuity in the, let's say, cultural history of this region. So something which, at the end, okay, of course, you can say the state socialism was not completely classless. There were definitely, let's say, socio-economical differences between the people, but nevertheless, this shift starting from perestroika and definitely accelerated in the early post-socialist years with the waves of different privatizations and other kind of property shifts also translated to culture. And I'm very much interested how culture, how it can be studied through culture, how culture helped with the so-called, I put here, the class formation. So something how different strata of people, I would say, sedimented around certain cultural topics. How, and here I follow up definitely to the Bourdieu theory of cultural homology. So how the taste and disgust, how does it exactly function in creating of what we could call a cultural or maybe subcultural capital, and definitely this kind of opposition or the double feeling of having taste for something and being in the same time disgusted from something else is translated largely to this kind of moralizing category, as Beverly Skeggs put it in the early 2000s, and it has a very concrete and very important repercussions for the metal scenes, as it was already mentioned by Karl this morning. So having this this idea of metal, yeah, as he put it, being stupid music for stupid people, or somehow an automatism that I try to dig into. If definitely metal is only linked with the working class funds, or what is exactly the place for the working class there, has this meaning also of a moralizing category. So again, stupid and you know, in how to say, adjectives like stupid, like without taste, and so on and so forth, usually serve for establishing, let's say, one own's I would say class appartenance in the cultural terms. So how to frame also the changes in post-socialist Central Europe? So here I try to follow up on this kind of neoliberalism theory of David Harvey. That was already also like worked by Philippe Ter in a way that the Central Eastern Europe somehow functioned in a dialogue and in the entanglement with the West. So in the same time, it presented kind of a distorted mirror of the changes in the West. And here I think definitely on the changes in the UK or in the US in the 1970s, 1980s. But somehow it also served as a model for the dismantling of the welfare state in the West. So somehow it was maybe the changes after the fall of state socialism were somehow so abrupt that it influenced also other countries. And here I do not think so much on the UK or the US, but more the countries of the Western Europe, such as France, Netherlands, or Germany, definitely in Austria. So this is how we could frame the post-socialist change. And finally, to the very topic of the metal denim jacket. So here I put some names that can be done, also some literature, how it was studied, definitely from the ethnographic perspective, and maybe a sociological and more material studies oriented. So you can see that the research on metal jacket is quite fresh, and it has been published only this year with 2 articles by Lauren O. Hagen. And it's of course something which was probably on the table, and let's say my ideas to get into this research topic were somehow, yeah, synchronical with that with Lauren. Nevertheless, she managed to publish on that earlier than I did. So I'm thinking, what can I add new to these different accounts of the ethnographic perspective? I will try to use these couple of minutes I still have for showing you what I think I can do. So I propose to focus on a very particular territory of the Czech Republic, which is the so-called Czech Moravian Highlands, something what we usually call as a internal periphery of the Czech Republic, which is in the same time strange because it's very central. In the same time, it's not something so isolated as we could say other internal peripheries across Europe, like for example Massif Central in France. But and again, you see that there is the main, let's say, highway. There are the going through this kind of region. It is not completely rural as one could imagine, because there is a lot of companies trying to putting or assembling parts for the automotive industry. It's also, you can see, it's let's say midway from Prague to Vienna, from Prague to Brno, from Prague to Slovakia. So it's something a very particular region that is somehow central, but somehow peripheric. And in a way, I try to follow up on this very kind of regionalized or regional studies, as Karol was also mentioning about the English North. So for me, this Czech Moravian Highlands would be the, let's say, biggest reference. which open, let's say, this particular locality opens several questions that I will try to show. So okay, so finally a picture of metal denim jacket, and it's the picture of a guy who's working in a blue collar work. So it was the photo was taken by a friend of mine who's basically an operator in one of these assembling parts for the automotive industry, and I asked him if he has some of colleagues who would be willing to participate in the research I'm doing right now, by taking a picture, maybe saying something about the jacket they are wearing. And he was very enthusiastic. Well, we know each other for a very long time, so he knows he can trust me with that. But not so much the people who were portrayed. And here I follow up on the small discussions we had about the let's say social impact of the research, because it's very difficult to explain. What can such research mean? Why is such research useful? Why, how in the same time, those people, they are basically wearing the jackets, I would say, not all the time, but most of their time, and in the same time, it is very difficult for them to let's say think why such research can be done, on what is the legitimacy of such research. So here I would argue that it is definitely in bridging this gap between the material and spiritual, which is kind of difficult to, I would say, frame well, to make a convincing pitch about this for the guy working in the assembly parts of the automotive production. Is not really an issue. So I'm trying to say, okay, I'm trying to look into a human imprint on the material. How do you really like construct your own metal denim jacket as a DIY practice? What is exactly given, and what is your own imprint? So this is something which can already be accepted a little bit more, and also I try to have this kind of more historical perspective, saying, okay, yeah, the metal denim jacket follows up on the these battle jackets of the Second World War, took by the bikers in the 1950s. Then, okay, it was changed into the denim. Yeah, it changed into the jeans jacket. So what does it mean? It's well, the jean or the denim as such is an omnipresent material. So is it really linked with the blue collar war? So what meanings does it have? And here, a discussion can be open. What is maybe special on the scarcity of denim in the late state socialist countries like Czechoslovakia, and if it's maybe a distorted mirror once again, so it's maybe not so much. It was not maybe so much blue collar. Then again, I go into let's say historical explanation of what different colors also were and different influences were used in different, let's say, metal denim jackets design. So you could say an important changes in design is color. So we could have this like typically blue new wave of British heavy metal metal denim jackets with patches of Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, and so on and so forth. But another important input was punk and let's say the fetishist cultures of which were linked with the extreme metal or much more influenced the scenes linked with the extreme metal in the 1980s, and here you could already see not only patches but also some metal object, really like from the metal material, right? And yeah, so again, there would be probably also some different colors, and finally the interpretation of such metal jacket as we have here. Of course, you can see. Well, you cannot see, but you have to believe me that at the top there is Marduk, and it's basically a black metal jacket, and it's not so let's say, common to have a black metal jacket in this very light blue color. So this would be the interpretation. So this is how to get to the informants, and it's basically a task, and it's I'm working on it. So I have to say this is a work in progress. But this is something I'm okay. I do not have a definitely a questionnaire, and I have just a very open set of questions. They are let's say constructed around 4 great categories or big categories. The one would be in this let's say historical perspective, and going to the topic of our workshop, if the Eastern Central or Central Eastern Europe had some kind of special position with this you know, with the scarcity, with the economy of shortage. So was there really like some kind of something special for the push, you know, for the DIY making your own metal denim jackets, because you could not basically buy everything. So you could see that some metal fans in the 1980s used their own stencils to put the, you know, the names of the favorite bands, such as Iron Maiden, Metallica, Creator, and so on and so forth. So here I would open again the question of histories, but also memories, which is interlinked but not always the same. Fine. Second issue would be this global or local. So what is global on wearing black metal denim jacket, and what is local? So then again I would follow up by saying you can see similar jackets from Indonesia to South America, so you can feel kind of interconnectedness, entanglements, but in the same time focusing on the local aspect of this research in the Czech Moravian Highlands. Most of my informers finally they make part of the very strictly local scenes. So going to the certain places, pubs, clubs, and where they socialize on the basis also of this metal denim jacket. So what is exactly local, and what is global in wearing of this fashion, we could say. Another set of questions would be in this division between uniformity or individuality. So in the same time, metal denim jacket should express the individuality of a metal fan, is somehow class transcending artifact, because you could see people making part of any kind of socioeconomic group to wear such similar jackets. But in the same time, if it's also coming for the first part, it is something which has to do with commodity. So first you need to have a jacket, you need to have a good jacket that lasts, that is not broken, and so on and so forth. And also for buying different patches and different memorabilia, it is linked with the commodity, so with the consumptions, and it also brings new questions. Finally, final set of questions is linked with the issue of looking good or fitting in, and fitting in where? So fitting in the scene, or fitting in also in the other contexts, such as work, family, and so on and so forth. So how would the let's say interviewees frame this kind of varying of what is exactly their feeling and their sense of wearing the metal jacket, and in what context. So this is basically it. I will be more than happy if you would have any kind of suggestions on how to proceed with such I would say not so new, but kind of a topic which is still under being refined. And so thanks a lot, and I'm happy that I could have said at least what I've said.